Alright guys, what's up? Welcome back to MLG Classics, Best of the Best. I'm Axeltoss, and I'm kind of going through the 32 games that we selected as being some of the best in MLG history for one reason or another. Coming up next, we got to go, let's go ahead and pop up that bracket so we can see where we stand right now. We just saw Kiwikaki versus Naniwa. Kiwikaki ending that ridiculous run of Naniwa through 2011 MLG Dallas, giving him his first loss of the tournament. Coming up next, we got Leenock versus MVP. This is from 2011 MLG Providence. Only one of these matches can advance to the round of 16. So as you're watching this next game, keep in mind, Naniwa versus Kiwikaki, it's up to you to decide which one deserves to remain in contention for best game in MLG history. Now, a little bit of context. This is the tournament, 2011 MLG Providence, when all the Koreans kind of started figuring out about MLG and started and foreigner teams started picking up these Korean players, and we're starting to see a lot more Korean presence at MLG. So Leenock lost to Dongregyu, and then in the lower bracket of the championship bracket, he defeated Boxer 2-0, defeated Slush 2-0, defeated MMA 2-1, defeated Idra 2-0, defeated Huck 2-0 to lead him to this point. Now, the person he's playing, MVP, kind of a similar crazy run. MVP fell to the championship loser bracket, and then he defeated Marine King Prime 2-0, knocking him out. Defeated Hero, Liquid Hero 2-0, getting him out of here. Defeated Hey Pro 2-1, more on that later. Wink, wink, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Defeated MC in an extended series 4-2 to get to this point. So it's MVP versus Leenock coming your way. Check it out.
Bitter. It is getting out of control out there. So many people. Let's introduce our players, starting in the East position. He is our Red Terran, hailing from Quantic Gaming and Incredible Miracles. Give it up for Q. I am MVP.
And down here in the bottom left-hand position, the Zerg player from FXO, the young Korean superstar, Leenock.
And, you know, it's funny to just say, gosh, Leenock, here's a 16-year-old kid traveling to the United States, competing in one of the most prestigious StarCraft 2 competitions from around the globe, and think about, the places he'll go. Oh, man. You know, the potential that a player like Leenock has. And people have even said that he doesn't get to dedicate the amount of time that he would like to because of school and because of studies. And to think what a fully vested 100% all-in Leenock is like, if you, I don't even, that's a scary thought, Mr. Bitter.
Man, yeah, not unlike the coming out that we've seen from Stefano, saying, hey, I'm going to play full-time, and then going on to win all these events. So, wow, Leenock, proving the doubters wrong. What do you think his mom thought when he's like, hey, I'm going to go to America, and then he's going to come back with like a huge check? No matter what happens, he's going to come back with a huge check.
All I hope is that she is proud as hell. Because if I was Leenock's mom, I would be.
How could you not be?
I would be very proud of my Leenock. We do have this little Rax going up here for I am MVP, Q I am MVP. He did go ahead and throw down his supply depot. You see Leenock's drone making the way and checking things out around the base. He'll likely check all of the proxy positions here. My guess is he's going to fight. No, he still doesn't. He decides to check this northern corner, still sees that there's no racks there. And he did fast expand off this. The hatchery about halfway done. The SCV now finishing up this racks. Is the drone going to find it? Looks like he's dangerously close to finally unearthing it, but the fog of war keeps his secret to him.
It does. He did see gas taken and gas being mined, importantly. So, you know, the barracks could very possibly be proxied, you know, on top of his hatchery, but there's really no fear of a double racks proxy with those two, with the gases being mined. You just can't sustain that kind of an investment. We see the factory going down in MVP's base, so that tells us a little bit about his plans. We can see that he is choosing to tech up, so MVP just playing some mind games by hiding that barracks and keeping his opponent a little bit in the dark.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Boxer do kind of the same things, putting his racks in a location that wasn't necessarily going to be any reason or call for a lot of pressure, but an Overlord being spotted here, trying to get to that high ground, getting out of the vision, and look at that, escapes away into the fog of war while those two Marines will head back home.
Such a sigh of relief.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh God, please, move faster.
Yeah. So there we have the command center going down, and as I was going back to my point, Boxer did the exact same thing, putting his racks in a place where the opponent was going to have to work in order to scout it, putting more action and spending a little bit more time trying to find that. But ultimately, hoping that they would react or overreact in this case.
Man, MVP just killed the Scantipede. What a jerk.
It's a brutal world out there, man.
It's a brutal world. Yeah, here's what I'm kind of seeing with MVP. He hides that barracks like Boxer did. He's mind gaming with his opponent, but he's also setting up games 2 and 3. Because now he can hide the barracks again and do a real proxy. And maybe Leenock's not as afraid. He's like, you didn't do this, shenanigans last time. You're not going to do it this time. So we're seeing mind games that could carry through into the later stages of this matchup.
We have the first Hellion out on the field, going to try to clean up the Zerg units around these towers. Meanwhile, Leenock did decide to throw up not only one, but a second spine crawler here, anticipating the possibility of Hellions, and even getting that third queen very, very quickly in order to be able to block the ramp, get some additional damage done. And after one hit from that spine crawler, he is going to go ahead and wait for a buddy before he comes in for another attack. Look at how low this one Hellion already is, 25 HP.
Yeah.
So, even if he goes in, it's going to be one kill for Leenock there, as the creep is spreading out very, very nicely, starting to get that done rather quickly. No lair quite yet, but back on gas, and I mean, that's about it. It's taking a second gas down here at the natural. What do we got going on in MVP side?
Yeah, I think we're going to see some mech at MVP. Second factory going up, Blue Flame being researched. Looks like he wants to drop that second factory onto the reactor, so we're going to get a lot of Hellion action here. I don't see a Roach Warren yet for Leenock, so he's going to be defending Blue Flame Hellions with just Zerglings. Oh, careful.
Yeah.
Slight moment of panic.
What are you doing?
Often I have had Hellions run into my base and just kill me like that, so I saw my own life flashing before my eyes there.
Well, and we do have Leenock going. I mean, there's a couple different ways to deal with. I was going to mention right here, a lot of times we do see an evolution chamber, but that's where the Roach Warren's going to go down. We've also seen this happen many times, and then you make a nice little wall. Of course, it makes it much more difficult for these Hellions to just slip on by. Also, having this one spine crawler back here and the Evo chamber blocking that in will make it a tight choke here as well. So it looks like Leenock, obviously having dealt with this many, many times before, Mr. Bitter, is going to be comfortable in this situation. By the time his Roach Warren pops, he should have a couple roaches out, but there seems to be a small window of opportunity here just because that spine crawler's there, and, well, there's not a second queen, so they could still slip by.
It's absolutely possible. Roach Warren has completed. No roaches in production just yet. Baneling Nest also going down for Leenock. That is really interesting. Baneling Nest before third base. Roaches still not being built. I wonder if he's going to do some kind of roach Baneling bust. A lot of Hellions coming down here into the natural wheat.
And there he goes. He does take quite a few hits, but attempting to surround, he goes ahead and takes the damage from the spine crawler. So many drones getting roasted here, up to 13 drones off of that natural expansion. Really only a couple of Hellions lost. He's going to be able to go back in here. Now these queens definitely standing at attention, not going to let them get into the main, but that was still a ton of damage done.
Yeah, 13 drones for 3 Hellions. Yes, please. I will take that trade if I am the Terran player here. That equalizes the worker count. 38 drones to 39 drones. Now a couple of roaches are going to pop out, and Leenock's going to try to push back these Hellions, but man, he has been put, it's just slowed him down a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, in those types of engagements, you can really, really hope to annihilate not only 1 or 2 Hellions, but sometimes a whole bunch. They're going in back in yet again. More drones will be roasted. He doesn't care that he's taken these initial hits, putting himself behind the mineral line. Finally, the roaches are out, and it will be cleaned up. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There was way more drones than I thought. But did we have, that's because the main had to have gotten roasted at the exact same time.
Oh, you're absolutely right. He's been ferrying units in with his medevac. We're so bad at observing wheat, so there's more Hellions being unloaded up into the main base, and Leenock is just taking so much damage from this multi-prong harass from MVP. He is all over the place, and this is crippling, man. This is absolutely crippling.
I love the addition of this Viking as well. I mean, these Overlords, they have absolutely nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. The Spire's not done yet, so there'll be 2 more Overlords that will have to be replenished thanks to that single Viking that came out. Meanwhile, MVP going ahead and rotating this medevac full of 3 Hellions back to what could be either the potential third or to of the mineral line once again at the natural, but quite a bit of units down here. A nice little wall that can be made. Looks like, though, he's just going to drop off at the tower, continue to deny vision to the Zerg. Meanwhile, back at home, you can see this mech force coming out for MVP is growing larger and larger.
Yes, indeed. Pumping out siege tanks 2 at a time. Siege mode just finished, and that makes me feel like a push is not too far away. Flyer Carapace being researched right now for Leenock.
Oh, Muta does manage to catch this medevac off to the side on the west side of the map. He is going to go ahead and go for it. There are 2 Mutas, and as long as he can get these down the base, but the Roach is going to be there to intercept as well. Good coverage here by Leenock, as there's nowhere for these Hellions to go. They're going to try to get as many kills as they possibly can, but unfortunately, Hellions were shut down, and only a couple of drones were killed.
Yeah, excellent defense that time by Leenock, so he's finally gotten it together and has managed to stop the bleeding. More Hellions are just running around the map for MVP. MVP has shown a real proficiency for just having blue flame Hellions everywhere. Infestation Pit already going down for Leenock. It looks like he wants to get a really fast hive, maybe?
Well, we're going to find out here very, very soon. He has not yet started it, but these Hellions trying to do some additional damage. Mutas, they are on to their plan. The Roach is coming in to intercept, and again, Leenock, although he kind of fumbled a bit at the beginning there with those initial Hellions, seems to be holding off this 3rd and 4th stage of pressure.
Yes, indeed. MVP still maintaining quite a bit of map control, using these Hellions to run around. Muta's trying to chase them off the map, but the Hellions are, of course, faster than the Mutalisk. Thor is starting to pop out for MVP. He is very quickly approaching that critical mass, and he's going to push soon. He's going to push very, very soon. Hive has just begun. And the question is, will the push come before Broodlords? I would wager that yes, it will.
I've got to imagine that it will, Mr. Vitt. I mean, one thing to keep in mind is that the Muta count for Leenock is only at 5, and there are no Mutas being created right now. So, of course, the Hive investment is going to be something that will make his Muta count much lower, but I don't think he can hold this off with just Roaches, and I mean, that's it. Right now, 5 Mutas and 6 Roaches is the army of Leenock. Look at this. There are several siege tanks. There's a ton of Hellions. He's got the 2 Thors out here. What does Leenock, 4 Thors total, I mean, what does Leenock plan to fight this army with? I'm not sure.
If he can get 2 big rotations of Roaches, he might be okay. The cool thing about the Mutas is it forces the Thor transition. So he's only made 5 or 6 Mutas, a minimal investment, and now he's got MVP pumping out all these Thors. You know, so siege tank's awesome against Roaches. Thor's not as good against Roaches. So if Leenock can manage, if Leenock can manage to switch into a ton of Roaches, he might be okay. He's got Infestors coming out. This is another excellent stall unit, so he can buy himself a lot of time with some Fungals. Greater Spire also being morphed. Corruptor's already being built. Looks like he's just going to go straight up to Broodlord. He says, to hell with Roaches. I'm going to pump all my resources into getting Broodlords out and hope for the best in that regard.
And here we go as the Mutas do pop into the Zerg base. Thor's trying to get into position, only get 1 shot off. Mutas not clumped together. And all MVP really wants to do is protect this third, get the static defense up, and make sure that he starts to get some SCVs there. I'm a bit surprised that we haven't seen a little bit more action down here at the 3rd of Leenock. It's relatively undefended with just these 4 Roaches on the outskirts. The Mutas are, of course, flying around, but there are so many Hellions. Like, I imagine that they could just roast these drones very, very quickly. Now the Muta's trying to go and cut this off. Here come the Hellions on to the creep. Will they attack directly into the natural, or will they try to swing around and go for that 3rd? Looks like they might just go ahead and go in and go for it. There we will see. Oh, nicely done, as the Mutas will clean that up as well. I do not think you want to lose any of those Hellions. So far, those Infestors doing great, but again, what does he fight this with?
The clock is ticking, Wheat. The Greater Spire is about to finish, and when it does, we're going to have some Broodlords morphing in. Look at all the money Leenock has saved up. 7 Broodlords on the way, and the rest is going to be Corruptors. He just needs seconds, and for some reason, MVP is turning around. I don't know if he realizes his potential peril here. If these Broodlords get out, they're gonna.
Where are the Broodlords?
What's up with the Vikings? There's 5 Vikings out.
The Broodlords they're morphing so far away, though. He could go in and attack this 3rd, and again, I just don't know if there's anything that Leenock will be able to do. MVP looking like he's in a good position. I think he's making the proper decisions, but he's being very, very cautious. And unfortunately, him being so cautious might have a very adverse effect on what will happen once these Broodlords actually pop.
Potentially, yes, you are exactly right. A lot of Hellions going to come down here to the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, and they're probably going to clean up this entire expansion. A little Zergling run by up at the 3rd, though. This is going to buy a little bit more time for Leenock. We got Hellions in the third base of our Zerg player. We're doing a little bit of roasting. If you look at the workers lost, have 43 drones in total. 46 now have died this game. But you know, in spite of that, Leenock's still sitting on 60 harvesters, so he's done an okay job of maintaining his economy. And now he's got an army that's actually pretty formidable.
Yeah, I mean, it's now starting to look like it's in pretty good shape as he's moving forward.
Whoa,
the Queen's advancing
Queens
as well to get those transfuse off on the Broodlords. He's expecting this attack to do a lot of damage, but there's the Vikings. The Mutas and the Corruptors have to get into this fight. And both sides see that there is air support, so they back off. But this is one of those rare moments where we are going to see a very diverse Zerg air army go up against this mech force trying to keep those Broodlords alive. The ground army is going to be very, very difficult to work out here with the amount of siege tanks and Hellions that we've got. More Broodlords being morphed in, and what an interesting battle this is going to be.
What Leenock's doing. He's just playing pure air right now. Corruptor, Broodlord, Infester with just a little bit of Zergling support where he can afford it. And I don't know how he is still alive because MVP has done so much damage throughout the course of this game. 54 worker kills. And oh no, it's about to be a whole lot more wheat. Oh my God. Ouch.
Poor guys. That's going to make it 66 workers killed total for MVP.
This 12 Broodlords supported by Infestors and Corruptors and Mutalisks. And oh my God, the Vikings are all really clumped up in an amazing fungal all over the Vikings. And if the Vikings die, no, the Infestors not able to get off a second fungal. The Broodlords doing a ton of damage. Is it going to be enough? The Corruptors trying to go toe-to-toe with the Vikings. The Thors are falling. Queen's dropping a lot of transfusions. The supplies are starting to swing Leenock's way.
Yeah, and he's got to move it over. Getting away from those Queens will actually help out MVP here. There's only 3 Corruptors left. And keep in mind, if those Corruptors go down, those Broodlords are completely naked, and the Vikings will reign supreme. Vikings moving in, but 5 more Corruptors coming in, and Leenock will continue to push MVP back.
This is impossible, Wheat. How is Leenock in this game? How are the supplies even? Look at the economies of these two players. They are so neck and neck. MVP trying to secure a gold base, morphing it into a planetary right now, dropping his mules there. That's going to help quite a bit. But what can he do against the Broodlord Corruptor Queen army of Leenock that is coming his way?
There he comes in yet again. More assault here. There's a few more Thors out on the field taking a look at these bars. A lot of these Broodlords are going to start going down, but the transfuses continue here on the Broodlords. Corruptors taking everything out. Only 2 Vikings remaining. If the Vikings go down and he takes out the Thors, he may do it once again.
Oh my God, Weeds!
I think he's going to be able to do it, keeping those Broodlords alive. The Thors are almost gone, and then there's nothing to battle this air force. Another Viking comes out, and the Corruptors quickly take care of it, even if one.
63 supply to 96. The Broodlords are still alive. There's a single 2 Thors left getting chain repairs, but Leenock is reloading now on roaches, and I do not know if MVP can continue to hold more Broodlords morphing in the middle of the map. This is the most amazing comeback I have ever witnessed.
Yeah, I mean, losing how many now? 67 workers. 41 were killed in that exchange because there are a lot of FCVs pulled to try to get repairs on those stores and keep them alive. More importantly, MVP realizes that he needs an air army that can stand up to this. And I just don't know how he's going to keep up with it now. We are seeing many more Broodlords come out. Are we going to have more Queens added to the army? I'm not sure that he's going to actually replenish. In fact, we're not even really getting injects. Here we do have more Queens coming out at nearly every single one of these hatcheries, actually just the 2 naturals. So he's got to make sure he keeps that air superiority. I love the roaches, though, on the ground.
Oh, I do too. And look at the income tab, man. This is going to blow you away a little bit. It is now 33 SCVs to 74 drones. Leenock in a commanding economic lead right now. He has turned this game around. He has lost more workers than he has, and his opponent is now behind.
Well, here we have another Blue Flame attack coming in here, and these drones are getting roasted. Several more go down, bringing it up to 77, going for some sort of crazy record here as more Hellions making their way across the map. You see +3 flyer and +3 missile for the Zerg. He's going to cancel it up and go ahead and sack this expansion, but it may not even matter because here comes the March of Leenock.
Here we go again. Broodlord's going to start raining down on this Terran army. Corruptors doing what they can. Queens are a little bit behind, and the Broods are awful stacked up. We really need to get some transfuse going. Here we go. Transfuse once, twice, a third time, a fourth time, a fifth time. These are the most immortal Broodlords I have ever seen in my life. 140 supply for Zerg. Less than 100 supply for MVP. More Broodlords being morphed right over the Terran's army. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, and you know, we got more Broodlords. We've got Wings starting to come in as well. Just as these Vikings come to aid in the battle, they're immediately disposed of by these Corruptors, and now we see that the Natural is getting assaulted here by Leenock. He's got easy access to the third as well. Although MVP continues to try to do some sort of damage, Leenock has such a strong force and is going to take this right through that front door into the main base of MVP.
DJ Wheat, can you believe what we just saw?
Wow, can you believe what we just saw? Leenock taking out MVP there in game one. He would go on to win that series 2-0, and he would go on to win that tournament. Let me just talk about this run that Leenock made at that tournament while that happened. 2-0 Boxer, 2-0 Slush, 2-0 MMA, or 2-1 MMA, 2-0 Idra, 2-0 Huck, 2-0 MVP, 4-3 Dong Ragu, and 4-1 against Naniwa to take down MLG Providence 2011. Leenock, epic game one there against MVP. And now it's time for you to decide, does that deserve to be in the round of 16 of our bracket? It's going up against Naniwa versus Kiwikaki. Again, Kiwikaki's win over Naniwa to prevent Naniwa from winning the entire thing without dropping a game. So now, please, it is time to tweet your vote, either hashtag MLG, hashtag Naniwa versus Kiwikaki, or hashtag MLG, hashtag Leenock versus MVP to decide who will advance on in our bracket. That being said, let's take a look at that bracket. We have just now completed the first fourth of the round of 32. And if you haven't voted already, you can still vote on every single one of these. Which matches deserve to move on to the round of 16. But guys, we are not done. Still a lot of games coming your way from the best of the best MLG Classic, the best games in MLG StarCraft 2 history. Guys, stay tuned. After a quick break, we'll have more StarCraft 2 coming your way.